So October, pretty interesting month. Not only do we need to submit biannual employer's recon, we also need to abide by the deadline of the 21st of October. Now, this is just a reminder. If you are employed, full-time employed, you had an IRP5 from your employer, you may or may not have medical aid, retirement annuity, a logbook. The mere fact that you're employed full-time means you are not a provisional taxpayer. And that means by the 21st of October, you need to have filed your personal tax return for the year end Feb 2025. Now, the period covered, as you know, is March of 2024 up to Feb 2025. You would have received your IRP5 from your employer. And if you're listening to this and if you haven't checked, maybe you've been auto-assessed. You need to check. If you have not been auto-assessed, that means you need to actually file your return. Now, there is a category of people that do not need to file their returns at all. They're not provisional taxpayers. They're not employed full-time, but they simply do not need to file their tax returns. Those are of a different category, and we will be dealing with that in a different video. Today, I'm speaking strictly to those who do need to file their income tax returns in order to remain compliant. Remember, once you exceed or once you go past the 21st of October, you will be penalized. Penalties will start going through and they will hit the roof. You'll be penalized on a monthly basis and there will be interest. So, should you find you haven't filed, please make sure you get your login details and follow the process. Not that difficult. If you're really struggling, find a registered tax practitioner to help you or go to SARS. If you want to do it for free, SARS won't charge you and you can file your tax return. If you are a provisional tax return, do remember you have until January of next year to file that return. So there's no rush, no stress, no fuss. This is simply a warning for those that are employed full-time. Who knows, maybe you have a refund that's been waiting for you. We've had clients who come to us and they haven't filed in 4 years. When we file, we find that they were due refunds and they've been sitting on this money. So you could have made your money work for you. You could have invested. You could have bought so many things, but you didn't file. And a lot of people don't file because of fear. They're afraid that filing your tax return automatically results in you owing SARS. That is not always the case. In fact, in most cases, the desirable result is that there's a zero at the end of the return when you're assessed. It's called an assessment, an IT 34. There will be nothing owing to SARS and nothing owing to you, in which case you then know your employer has done your deductions correctly. In some instances, because you have medical aid, because you have retirement annuity, you may have credit and you may have a refund. And the other case that can happen, which doesn't work in our favor, is if you don't have a logbook, you had travel allowance, you can't claim your allowance, then you may just be owing SARS money. The last scenario that I just want to deal with here, and we're finding this more and more in the past, if you were employed, and this is particularly for, I see it happen with most of our clients who are vets or who are in the IT industry, any industry actually, and they're doing either locum jobs or other work outside of, their normal employ. Now, in their bid to try and be honest and declare all their income, they've always, in addition to the IRP5, openly declared this income. We've always done financials for it. We've always deducted expenses from this income. So these are expenses that are deemed to be business expenses, such as electricity. Sometimes it's your telephone bill, anything that you can use in order to get to where you're going, petrol even. We've always been able to claim those expenses. Now, this year, 2025 tax year, in horror of horrors, we have tried to do that, and SARS has come back and said, well, if you're working for a government department, we want to see proof that your employer, being the South African government, has allowed you to do work outside of your normal 9-to-5 job. So they want to see proof that you are approved to do these locums. If you cannot provide that proof, they're not willing to even consider your additional income and expenses. So in a bid to being honest, it's come back to bite a lot of people. And of course, it's difficult to get that later. So we have had to concede and not include that income, not include those expenses, and simply rely on the IRP5, which of course is incorrect because you should be declaring additional income. Join me. This was quite a long recording, longer than my usual ones, but join me as we talk about these and many, 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 many other challenges that our taxpayers face in this day. Enjoy your day.